Okay. All right, we are back rolling for our live coverage here at the Envestnet Elevate Conference in Las Vegas. And I have with us now Craig Iskowitz, who is the founder and CEO of the Ezra Group. Craig, thanks for joining us.
I'm happy to be here, man.
I'm happy to have you here. I've been a fan for quite some time. I've been following you on
Likewise.
LinkedIn. Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And glad to have you on the show. So as we were talking a little bit off camera, what we like to do here at goRIA, fueled of course by InvestmentNews, is answer one of two questions. Why should the advisor who's right now at fill-in-the-blank broker-dealer, IBD, wirehouse, why should they go RIA? And then we also like to help them understand how they can go RIA. I think you could help us with the second one.
Exactly. We can't help you make a decision to go RIA, but we can help you with everything else around technology and operations.
Okay.
So
let's do that.
Advisors come to us when they're looking to go break away and start their own firm, and we can help them top to bottom build a tech stack that matches their requirements, their needs, their growth plans, that's going to work for them and scale for them and still be within their budget.
Okay, that sounds good. So I went RIA myself about 5 years ago and completely 100% flubbed up my tech stack, like really badly. And this is not to say that the tech I went with initially was bad, but it was absolutely bad for me. How do you help advisors not make the same mistake I did?
Yeah, it's a great point, and we see that all the time. And we're in the business. This is all that we've been doing. This is Ezra Group's 20th year in just wealth management technology. So, and it's still overwhelming for me, and this is all that we do. So imagine it for an advisor who, his job is, or his or her job is, out there helping the clients. They want to grow, they want to help people reach their financial goals, and then this technology comes in, and the choices are overwhelming.
Yeah.
Just at this conference, look around the room. This is just a small subset of what's available, and which one do you pick? We don't know. Right. So we have a series of assessments we work with, and they're available on our website, EzraGroup.com. Anyone can download them in all the different areas. But the first one we talk about is, as I mentioned before, what are your goals as a firm? Are you looking for a lifestyle practice? Are you looking to grow fast? Are you PE backed? Are you looking to acquire? Do you have a bunch of partners you're bringing on? Are you moving? You expect to move a bunch of assets? Most firms do. They expect to bring a bunch of assets, lifting out a team. Are you more investment management focused? Are you financial planning focused? Do you also sell insurance? A lot of these questions we'll ask them in order to figure out which platform might be best for them. But ultimately the decision is theirs, but our job is to provide the information, pros and cons, they can make an informed decision.
I tell you, that's what we tell our investment clients, our financial planning clients. Our job is not to make the decision for them, but if we're doing our job, they have the ability to make an informed decision.
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's on them. But for me, I wanted to do a certain thing, and I thought I was being pretty specifically clear with this tech firm that I first went with. And where I really got jammed up, and I tell you, I've been doing this for just 5 years now, as far as running my own firm, meaning running my own technology. And this is just the truth, is that a lot of these software firms, and push back if you don't think this is fully accurate, overpromise and underdeliver. So kind of shame on me. Yes.
Someone promised you something they couldn't deliver? I don't believe it. This is my shock face.
Yeah.
No, it's very true.
But holy smoke, I mean,
it's
blatantly.
It's the sales guys, right? The sales guys are different than the implementation people, and no implementation person wants to hear the sales guy talk.
Right.
Because they're going to be cringing, like we can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's a common problem. We've seen it since I got in the business 20 years ago, overpromising things we can't deliver.
Yeah.
And
it's always on the roadmap.
That's
and this roadmap goes for miles and
correct.
miles.
And it's sometimes it's on the roadmap, and sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
And the reason people hire us is we know where the bodies are buried, so to speak, and we know which vendors can do what they say, what they promise, and which ones can't. Yeah. And again, we don't get paid by vendors; we get paid by the advisors.
Right.
So we're just like an advisor that doesn't take any kickbacks from the mutual funds that he sells. Right. And he's perfectly agnostic around investments. We're completely agnostic around technology.
Got it.
So whichever product we happen to help you select, you're getting it because we think it's the best for you, not because we're getting a rev share or a finder's fee.
Right.
But yeah, that is an issue, and oftentimes it's hard to make a decision because you don't understand the technology, you don't understand the issues around implementation, you don't understand what a vendor's capabilities are because you haven't worked with them more than you haven't made this decision recently.
You haven't worked with them at all. You're still signing on the dotted line.
Right. Or you haven't, making this decision is something that advisors might do once or twice in their career. Yeah. Right. Which portfolio management platform should you employ? Because once you sign up for one, you're there 10 years or more.
You do not want to change those.
Right.
I did. You don't want to do that.
You don't want it. It's not hard. It's not easy to do.
No.
It's going to cost a lot of money.
Yep.
More than half the time when we're brought in from an existing RIA that has been in business 10, 20, 30 years, and they say, we want you to replace our portfolio management system. More than half the time, there's nothing wrong with the portfolio management system. And we recommend that they keep it. They just need to implement it better, configure it properly, integrate it better, train the staff on how to use it better. Usually once we do all those things, suddenly all the problems go away, or most of them go away, and it's now a high functioning system again. So we get paid more if we switch you. To do a conversion, we'll get paid a lot more, but you won't be happy in the end.
Right.
So we want to make sure if we're going to convert you, it's because you need the new system. One you have can't support it, or will help you use it better, implement it better, integrate it better.
Right. Now, my case was they just could not do it. It was a very specific thing, portfolio group rebalancing. We are very big on portfolio group rebalancing.
Sure.
And back 5 years ago, Firm A was not doing it. It was on the roadmap. That roadmap, maybe it got there now, I don't know, but we've since switched. So let me pivot to something else, because you touched upon a subject I did want to speak with you about, which is the cost of technology. And I say a lot on the show that the cost of technology, half of it is the software, and probably more than half are the people pressing the buttons. I found that to be a real important consideration. So you can find the best technology out there and say, oh, it's kind of pricey, but I could afford it. Make sure you're pricing in who's pressing those buttons, yes?
Absolutely, and we do this a fair amount, is an analysis on what it will take you to convert to whatever the platform is.
Yeah.
Now, different platforms have different requirements and different needs for it. If it's a billing system, it would be very different than if it's a CRM or a portfolio management or reporting tool, or just maybe a one-off AI tool, or a note taker, or a tax management software, or financial planning software. They all have different requirements and length of implementation, onboarding, training, integrations. So whichever one you happen to be working with would determine how long it might take you to get it onboarded.
Yeah.
But we usually see the cost of conversion at way higher than you think, as you mentioned.
Sure.
Just the software costs. Most vendors, if you're looking for a CRM, charge roughly the same amount, unless you're Salesforce. They charge 3 times what everyone else charges. But
yeah.
CRM pricing is very similar across the board per seat on the enterprise, and it's not that much, as you mentioned, the cost, it's all the other things. So the time you spend looking at other vendors, the time you spend negotiating the contract, the time you spend doing the implementation, converting all the data, cleaning the data, working with it, training everybody. There's the opportunity cost, there's downtime. Then also the contract you've got with your current vendor, especially we see this all the time with portfolio management software. We'll get called in, hey, we want to replace our portfolio management system. The contract's up in 3 months. I said, you're screwed. We can't pick the software and get it implemented and tested and train everybody in 3 months.
Right.
So now you're going to have to go back to them, either negotiate a short-term contract or pay their rack rate with a month-to-month, and that cost you did not budget for.
That's right. And that is something that is so important to keep in mind, is the actual using of the system. Because it's not just you write that check, you got that software, you're just starting. And really at the early part of that race too. Getting to that finish line takes a lot of work internally, and you need that right support for that. As we're kind of getting close on time here, I wanted to bring up one other thing, and I thought of it as you were talking about all the different types of software out there, the tax software, the planning software, the note-taking software. And I suffer from this particular syndrome, right? Which is the shiny new toy syndrome. How do you help folks that have that same problem that I have?
My clients call me Dr. No. No, don't do it. You don't need it. Whatever it is, just wait. Let us fix this other stuff first. Then you can bring the shiny new toy in. There's lots of toys, and I'm a tech guy. I've got a degree in computer science. I love new software.
Yeah.
But you've got a business to run, and your advisors already are under stress, and maybe you've just implemented the CRM. CRM, portfolio management, billing, reporting are the top 4 that we usually work with at most firms in general, because they're the ones that have the most moving parts. Once we bring those in, and one thing I want to mention in the previous conversation is any new software you bring in, you have to realize communicating to your staff, admins, and advisors is a never-ending process. Just like you never stop marketing to your prospects and clients, just because they sign on the dotted line, now they're a client, you don't stop marketing to them or communicating with them. Same thing with your client, with your internal staff, admins, and advisors. You never stop communicating, why are we doing this? Why do we bring a new CRM in? We're not just doing it to give you a hard time. Why do we make you put all this data in the system? Not to give you a hard time,
Yeah.
it's to make your jobs easier so you can grow more, you can make more money, or maybe you don't want more money, maybe you want more time away from work. Well, we can get your job done faster if you do this the way we say, this methodology we set up with Ezra Group, the process to onboard clients, to do client meetings, to do rebalancing. It's going to be faster, stronger, better for you. Do it this way. You can't stop marketing that or communicating that. But
All right.
your other question, the shiny object, think about a plan. You at least want to have some sort of roadmap for where you want your business to be and where you want to spend your time. Every new application you add is going to take time away from other things that you're doing. So every app you add, will it increase our revenue? Will it reduce our expenses? Will it make our clients happier, our advisors happier? If it's answering one of those questions, yes, then you should do it. But then you have to say, well, what are we going to take away? What aren't we going to do if we're bringing in this other application that's going to take time away from anything else that we're working on?
Right. So it's almost like the current administration, right? If you want to remove or add one more regulation, you got to get rid of 10.
Which is a great idea, actually, yeah. Get rid of something.
Exactly. All right, that's a good place to put a pin in for today. So thank you so much for joining us on this. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with one more segment as we close out our coverage here for Envestnet 2025. Thanks for joining us. And Craig, thanks again. That was fantastic.